Good morning, Wrestling Inc. Get up, get going. Happy Tuesday. I hope you are ready to get tickled with some pro wrestling punditry today. It's me, your managing editor of WrestlingInc.com, Nick Hausman, joined here as I am every Tuesday, the master of the pundit tickle. It is our good friend EJ Cameron. EJ, welcome back to the Wrestling Inc. Daily.
Good to be back, Nick. Happy Tuesday. Happy week. A good energy week. I feel like the last week and this week, really good energy.
Oh, fantastic energy in the air right now. You know, I've got, of course, I got the replay party this Friday night. I know you're going to be busy entertaining the masses at Second City, Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
But next Friday, dude, United Center, right? Like, what's going to be happening? Why are they doing a media scrum for this innocuous second episode of Rampage? It would seem there's going to be something very exciting happening at this upcoming episode of Rampage.
I would hope so. It feels like this should be. If you're going to do this, something big has to be coming out.
Yeah, 100%. So a lot to take in. We have a big show here today. Before we get into all the fun stuff we have to talk about and the great guest, I do want to send our regards out to Kelly. She announced yesterday that her and her husband suffered a miscarriage. That's always very difficult to deal with. And so to Kelly, and to really anyone out there who's had to deal with that or is dealing with something like that right now, we're sending our best out to you. That's a really tough spot to be in, EJ.
Yeah, that's a horrible spot. I couldn't imagine. I hope I never have to, but prayers up. Good vibes, good energy, whatever you believe, good thoughts, something towards them and their family in this time specifically. So
absolutely. So sending our best to you, Kelly. And with that, we have a big show here. I like A. O'Donnell 025 here. He's got 2 beer clinks in the chat room already. It's a little early for beer. I don't know where you are at in the world. I guess it's 5 o'clock somewhere, A. O'Donnell, but I'm like EJ. I still got mine's too hot to touch right now. I'm going to leave it there for a moment so I don't hurt myself.
Just right.
But the comment section is open. Chat along with us as the show goes along. We'll pull your comments up onto the screen. We also have a big guest here today, as we do every day. If you're listening to us in audio form, after the news today, you're going to hear my conversation with AEW star, IWGP United States Champion Lance Archer in the house here today. He has a big match against Tanahashi this weekend. He's got Dan Lambert coming into Dynamite tomorrow night, looking to make some more noise. And, of course, it would be bad journalism on my part, EJ, if I didn't bring up how, he kind of represents the forbidden door between AEW and New Japan, right? Because he holds the title, right? Yeah. United States. Yeah. Right?
He's totally the big crossover guy. And I think it makes sense that the United States Championship should be defended like that. I like that it's such an open thing because that's what the country was built on. But we'll talk about that some other time. But I think it's great. He's a great guy. He's big and terrifying. Everybody's scared of him. The Murder Hawk. He beats up audience members. I love it.
Very entertaining, large man. Yeah. And, there's just I've heard a lot of news about Daniel Bryan, and how it looks like he's AEW bound and how a big reason he wanted to maybe come to AEW is because he has a lot of interest in working with New Japan. And you guys know that it would be, again, malpractice on my part if I didn't bring all of that up to Lance. So, the meaty of the meat we get into here today with me and Lance, so please stick around. What, did you like that? That tickle you? Was that the first real tickle?
The meaty of the meat. The big meaty man bumping meat.
We got some meaty meat here today. Big meaty meat bumping other meat. Meat bumping. Tickle Tuesdays.
Bumping.
And of course, if you're watching us in video form, hey, we're already having a good time, in my opinion. So, this video of me and Lance Archer will debut at 1 p.m. Eastern over on the Wrestling Inc. YouTube channel. We have big interviews coming out forever. It would seem this is a very hot time to be getting content for us. So subscribe to the Wrestling Inc. YouTube channel. You get me and Lance today, and who knows tomorrow? Big mystery interview tomorrow. At the end of the show for everybody, we'll dive into the mailbag. We're going to talk about Becky Lynch, but let's get to it here. News you can use. News will leave a bruise. We'll start off with some Bray Wyatt news here, a little Bray Wyatt block. First of all, here, I didn't do my due diligence. I need to have had my screen share up here before the show. This is all new technology to me. But Bray Wyatt, not that. That's the run sheet.
That's a cheat sheet.
Yeah, Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt. He put out this photo here. Here, I have a link. I did my due diligence here. He put out this photo last night on Twitter with the cryptic caption, "You can't kill it." And now I will pull it up here correctly. There you go. That's what the photo is here. I think I can pull this gimmick away here. There we go. So this is the full photo here. This is what got everybody talking last night before Raw. Bray Wyatt, he goes and he puts this photo up here. What do you think, EJ? How do you feel about the photo here from Bray Wyatt?
I think he knows he's coming back. He's letting everybody know he's keeping the buzz alive. He hears, it could be even to the fans that are still chanting his name. He's telling, the higher ups, you can't kill me.
Yeah.
This will keep going.
And I kind of, maybe I look too much into everything, EJ, because my whole life is looking at pro wrestling news all day. But I saw this and immediately I had flashbacks when I was in high school, believe it or not. I was, of course, a theater kid. And I did a play my senior year called Shogun Macbeth. It was Kabuki Shakespeare. And yeah, all these. Yeah, look at me. Don't I look like Japanese, EJ? Certainly not.
And this was in Texas, right? Kabuki Shakespeare in Texas is all I need.
So I was Banquo, all right, and the whole concept was just Macbeth, but in feudal Japan, all right. So it's not King Duncan, it's Shogun Duncan, right? Where everybody's samurais, but we actually legit had to go into this deep Japanese theater training, right, as part of this whole thing or whatever. And I saw this and I was like, well, this is Kabuki right here. It looks like a Kabuki demon face paint to me with my limited knowledge of Kabuki theater here. And colors are very important in Kabuki. Blue is bad, red is good, believe it or not. And I love the idea of this Japanese demon, maybe is like the tease here. Maybe teasing New Japan, is a thought there. I'm not really sure, but I took a lot of time looking at this photo, and those were my takeaways about it, EJ. So.
Can you imagine that, him and Evil together?
Him and Evil? Yeah, totally. I mean, I just looked at it, and I was like, what am I supposed to... And, John Cena puts stuff up all the time, and it never means anything. We'll talk about a John Cena thing here later that is just John having fun. But Bray's very intentional, and I feel like they're wanting us to look deeper into, and I think he's wanting us to look deeper into this image here.
So you think Japan?
It definitely feels Japanese to me. It feels like.
What do you think would be the best fit for him?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's tough right now to travel with Japan, and work in Japan, but. Obviously there's a lot of New Japan stuff going on in AEW. I get the vibe. There's a lot of stuff they're getting going in AEW that they hope to be able to pay off, maybe with some other stuff over in Japan when their shows get going. So I don't know, but definitely has a Japanese Kabuki kind of demon feel to me. If I had to glean what I
it would be pretty sick if he came back reincarnated as a Japanese version of the Fiend. Wherever he goes, the Fiend changes and morphs. And with this open door, we can get multiple versions of Fiends.
Yeah, we have Antonio Garcia here saying it'll be awesome if Bray went to New Japan. AEW can't take everyone, and we need the business strong as a whole. And yeah, the guy really loves the symbolism and I love the idea of the multiple different kinds of Fiend. What is a feudal Japan Fiend? I'm sure there's so much demon mythos and stuff like that in Japanese theater and things. A lot to play around with there.
There's so much. As I'm freestyling this with you, it reminds me of back in the day where they would have Ric Flair go around to different wrestling towns, or Andre the Giant, they'd lend him out and he'd be a big attraction. What if the Fiend, with this open door thing that's going on, that is the ticket? The Fiend shows up and there's different versions of him. And you got to figure out how to kill this monster. And then he's sent off to NWA or Impact or whatever, and there's a new version of him that morphs with wherever he's going.
Okay. I like that. Jacob Grandi here saying Mystic characters look really corny in New Japan. Look at Evil, and it's just a different vibe. I don't know that I would say Mystic characters look corny. They just are more serious, if that makes sense. You know?
Yeah, and you just kind of have to do it. It reminds me of this match. Oh my God, it's this old school match where they had Undertaker in Japan fighting this guy. I forget his name, but he was dead and he had a funeral and they just rolled his body into the ring. And it's the Undertaker in the 90s looking like, what am I supposed to do with this guy? He's dead. But he's kind of like flopping around like a Weekend at Bernie's. Go check it out if you can. I got to figure out the name of the match. But yeah.
All right, fair enough. So also in our Bray Wyatt block here, Fightful reporting that Wyatt's post WrestleMania 37 absence had absolutely nothing to do with rumors that were described as, quote, falsely reported mental health issues, which made the rounds a few months ago. Of course, that was this has been brought up a lot in the chat rooms and stuff, and I guess this kind of puts it to sleep, hopefully once and for all. But there was the false reporting that like the passing of Brody had put Bray in like a funky place, and that somehow spiraled into maybe this is true because nobody dispelled it, but that doesn't look like it was the case. It was also said that Wyatt is 100% healthy, fully able to wrestle right now. Furthermore, word now is that while away from the WWE storylines following the loss to Randy Orton at WrestleMania, Wyatt was working on adding creative elements to his character, which was scheduled to return at last night's Raw in Orlando. It was also noted that Wyatt had family engagements that were already scheduled for May and June, so I guess that maybe explains why he was gone as well. Bottom line, it looked like this guy was getting right there to come back, and they just decided to break and ice him for 90 days. He's been iced for so long, probably expect to get reheated up here. You get iced for another 3 months. There is definitely more to this story here with Bray Wyatt. I got to know more here, man.
That's what, like, why would they do that? You have this great creative talent, this great mind, physical specimen. He's working on something. You take him off the TV for no reason. Okay, family stuff, fine. To the point where we're sitting here like, is he depressed? I heard he had a concussion. I heard this. Oh, I get it. And it's none of the above. He was just like waiting.
Yeah, it sounds like it, right? He was just like chilling, kicking it, getting ready to come back, making his big, grand return and everything like that. And then they iced him. I got to know more, man. I got to know more about this one. This doesn't make the more I hear about it, the less it makes sense to me, Yeah,
maybe his new creative stuff costs too much. He's like, okay, I'm going to fly in. I'm going to ride in on a hoverboard. And they're like, no. We can't afford that, Bray. I don't know. It's weird. Everything's really weird with them these past few weeks. So I don't know.
Okay. Well, Eric Roberts, you're saying Buddy Murphy's new vignette mentions the devil himself is locked up in the same prison that he and Black were in. And so I haven't seen this new Buddy Murphy vignette. I got to go check it out. I saw the Malachi Black one. Very well done. Love that Josiah Williams is in it. I guess they're trying to these wrestlers. They're starting to create their own universe, right? Where they all exist in this metaphorical prison that they all like one at a time get let out of. That's kind of cool. I like that.
It's necessary because too often, what do we see? It's like, oh, that's what's his face from what's his face, and they act like nothing happened. They're like, all right, I'm free now. But I like that Malachi Black has a funky looking eye with makeup all around it and stuff, or a dead eye that's been repossessed. Because if he just came back with both his eyes and act like nothing happened, that makes everybody look stupid. Yeah. But to show, just to keep that little mystique alive for the people that are still believers and really want to fully engage in this like world, I think that's so important. And I think that is a little, as we talked about the doors being open, there's that little crack of the door. You're just like, oh, the other place. But yeah, create your little universe, and now you're here. That's preservation for your character.
And I think I guess you got to kind of be in the clique to be able to do the vignette where you're in the prison, right? And does like this all start to create these like sub indie plots, right? Do these guys start telling their own stories? Like, do we get a TV show? Like, I like the premise. I like the premise. You've sold me. What does this become, right?
Yeah, I like that because now you have storylines that can travel.
Mm-hmm.
You already have a built storyline, a matchup that people would pay to see. Oh, these dudes they're fighting from hell. Come see him at this location. Yes, I'm there. Cool.
Well, we have here Polio Del Mar, I think echoing the sentiment of at least some fans at Raw last night. I'm interested in what makes a, quote, good Fiend match, because I feel like the character alone being captivating is more than I can say about most WWE stories. That'll bring us into Raw, where, yeah, last night, more "We Want Wyatt" chants. We had a correspondent say that they aired, we were there last week at Raw. Remember, it feels like a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
So Steve Austin vignettes play on the big screen when we're all at commercial, and we all sit there and we watch him and whoever. I guess they mentioned the Fiend in one of that, and that's what started the chants, I guess.
Oh, I thought it was just them seeing Alexa Bliss, and it's like, oh yeah, we want the original one, man. What is this?
I do wonder. I wonder if they'll turn on Alexa or not. She is so beloved, but like it's very obvious that she's not number one, right?
I don't think they're going to turn on her. I think it's going to be one of those deals where it'll happen every so often. It might be the new CM Punk chance. I don't think it's going to last. The chance never lasts long. Like, right. As an audience, we'll do it for a little bit, and then we get over and we're like, okay, let's watch the match. We paid money to be here. So I guess I should stop now. But like, if it happens for like the whole entire match, that's a problem. And I don't see that happening. I think people like Alexa Bliss as a person too much. They were singing happy birthday to her.
Yeah. Well, Brian Bills here, 1417, saying, are the wrestlers now making themselves appear to be more of an independent contractor than before by creating their own storylines independently? Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, they should. That's why Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens can have a match on any pay-per-view at any time, because they took their story and brought it with them. Like, right. Low-key, they're the OG of that. So when you see that, it's like, cool. We don't have a match. Me and Sami Zayn can be a tag team right now, or we can fight right now. It's always ready. It's instant. You already know what it is and what you're getting, and you can cook it up and heat it up, and it's going to be delicious. So I think that's going to be smart for these independent contractors to travel and do. It just keeps them alive. It preserves them.
I love this world they're building of metaphor, right? In this world, they're prisoners, right? And they're in these prisons, and like maybe you escape and maybe you get taken to another prison or an asylum or a circus tent. And all these things can be representative of things you're really dealing with in your real life. And it's just this world of metaphor created by these wrestlers that they can play with independently of however they're getting booked wherever they're at. That's a lot of fun. I like that.
I think it's so fun. Watch it be like the thing from now on.
Yeah. So on Raw last night, outside of the "We Want Wyatt" chants, Randy Orton came back. He's got a mustache now. First.
It looks so weird. Like they showed the montage of Randy Orton with Riddle, and he just had like beard, clean face, mustache. It's like, who is this guy?
I mean, I'm pro Randy Orton's mustache. First of all, like I'm pro stash in general. I like a good. I can grow. I look at this thing. I'm a stash guy. I have a beautiful mustache. He just looks like, I don't know. Is smarter, more savvy. Like I feel like he's gonna recommend art to me now with this kind of because this is more of a pencil thin, not quite a pencil thin, but it's not like doesn't have like a bushy mustache.
He has a little bit of something here too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, something that I don't know. Every time I just see a mustache, I think of a cop, but he does seem kind of like artisanal. Mm-hmm. Like if you put the right cardigan on him, he might, he will give you like a nice Java or craft brew recommendation.
Yes. Yeah, there's something about it where I'm just like, I don't know if you're classier or sleazier or maybe both. But Dave in here saying that my Hausman's mustache, that's elite. And your mustache, I want to see you with just a mustache. If that
No, you don't.
I kind of do now. I'm like visualizing it.
Anytime I've had to play an older character, they would do that. They would just have me cut my mustache off. And my face looks fatter. And I'm just walking around. It's like a Carl Winslow thing going on. I'm good.
All right. Well, hey. Samantha here thinks that Randy Orton looks like a pirate or one of the Three Musketeers now. Again, it's like evil or like dashing, right?
Yeah.
put my finger on it. You know,
it's like the V for Vendetta mask. I forget the faux fall. I forget the name, but you know what I'm talking about. He has the same kind of.
Yeah. He doesn't, but he doesn't have the soul patch, right? Like that's the thing. He needs like the pointy soul patch to be the V for Vendetta thing. Remember when Cody Rhodes had a mustache for a while?
Yeah.
I'm getting similar vibes, like big sames.
It just becomes a whole shirt like Randy Orton with a mustache on it.
Anyway, all right. I did not anticipate talking for this long about Randy Orton's mustache, but that's where the conversation took us. I mean, because Rob Humphreys here is right. It's tough to pull off the mustache only. Look, it is. It's tough. So, all right. Anyway, Randy Orton, he came out in the main event. He defeated AJ Styles. Matt Riddle came out after the whole show. They've been teasing. Are they going to be friends, not friends? Randy Orton leaves this guy laying. We'll stop there for a moment. How did you feel about the end of the show there, the way it came to an exclamation point?
It was great.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. It was setting it up. They were teasing it the whole night. Everybody knew, but either way it went, people would have loved it. So if it was like, all right, cool, we need to team up to beat up AJ Styles, everybody would have loved it. When they hugged, people loved it, but it was this excitement. And it takes me back to what we were talking about, how Raw would always used to have like a common thread through the show and how SmackDown does. Randy Orton shows up. We have our thread.
Dude,
who knew?
And it's tough. I mean, because like, look, we were there last week. Matt Riddle, way over, right? Way over. We were walking around. I think of all the shirts I saw the most of, that RK Bro shirt with that snake, dude, everybody was wearing that shirt, weren't they?
Yes. That's why I was like, they can't be cutting this soon because everyone loves the merch. They just came out with good merch and everybody likes it.
But I like this a lot more. Randy Orton's way better as a heel. Matt Riddle having to go after and be tormented by this guy, knowing how invested kind of the fans now are into like their relationship and just kind of him as a person. I actually think that this is going to probably play well for them in the coming weeks on Monday Night Raw if they can handle it right. They've got something right now in Matt Riddle, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, I could totally see this as a SummerSlam match. And low-key, this is the slowest build to a match or a setup that we've seen in a while. Because they started as they fought each other one-on-one, Orton lost. Then they teamed up together, and it was just like this pecking, and then they tried it, and then Orton disappears because to fix his mustache. Yeah, I like that it's felt long-term, but not in a boring way to where it's Randy Orton versus Riddle every week for 3 months. It felt fresh, and they kept it fresh to get to this point.
Well, Seb V here saying the only thing that's watchable on Raw, Team RKO, bro, Antonio Garcia. I saw that RKO coming. I'd be disappointed if it didn't happen. You kind of, right? Like I wanted it. I did want it.
Everybody wanted it. You could hear the audience. The audience wanted. Everybody was like, do it. Shoot him.
Murder Riddle. Murder him. But then I had to sit there and I had to think. And maybe this is good, maybe it's bad, but I was like, who am I rooting for here? Who are the fans? Like, are they going to boo? I mean, I think that Randy, you could get him. Randy's a seasoned heel. He knows how to get him. So I think the heel. So they're going to try to really get the fans behind a Matt Riddle and a heel Randy Orton. It'll be interesting to see how they do that.
I think they could do it. I think with Riddle, whenever you could hear, he's so doofy that when he's like, you don't want to be my friend, Randy? Everyone's like, aw, because it looks like the little neighbor kid with the scooter coming over that's like, hey, guess what, mister? Hey, mister. Hey, mister. And then the neighbor shoots him. He's like, RKO, get out of here, kid. Yeah. You feel for him in that sense, but you do want to see Randy be a jerk. You want to boo Randy. So you want him to do the dastardly thing. He's going to step all over his feet. He's going to torture that dude.
Yeah. And I see a fan here, Aubrey James, chiming in saying, I really wanted Riddle to turn on Randy to have it be different. And that is interesting to think about. And you probably could make a good case for that. I just think maybe a little too early for the heel turn with Riddle. I mean, they're really feeling him right now. And
yeah, the crowd response we heard, I was like, there's no way they could turn him right now, man. People went crazy for him.
Yeah, man. He's like a little stoner beaver cleaver, right?
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Mom, at school was great. Yeah, bro. Yeah. That's
Are you
1950.
making cookies, Mom?
Yes. These are that we should recreate all the Nick at Night shows as if they were done as Stone. Mary Tyler Moore would have been a lot better if they were all high all the time. I'm just saying. Anyway. Also after Raw went off the air, John Cena comes out. So they had John Cena there. They didn't use him on the show.
3 hours of television.
Dude, that there's like I think that the sixth quarter, right? Like that or no, the fourth quarter, like a little over halfway into the second hour, whatever it is, that should just be called the John Morrison Damian Priest hour. Oh crap, we just lost EJ. He'll be back. That's fine. He'll be back. But anyway, so yeah, after the show goes off the air, John Cena comes out. He gets his big pop from the crowd. He hits the ring as Riddle's recovering from this RKO that he just took from Randy Orton. So then he plays Peacemaker, which we put in parentheses on the site because I guess we were making some kind of joke about John Cena's role in the Suicide Squad movie, which, to be fair, he's very, very good. So he plays Peacemaker between... Oh, wait, we got EJ back here. EJ, back?
I'm back, and I'm better than ever.
So let me go. So I'll play it back here for you, EJ, real quick. So after the show, like I said, John Cena comes out, big pop. He's not on the show, which is like, yeah, you got 3 hours. This you don't think you could have done something with John Cena?
Something we couldn't see him just as an energy boost. Yeah. I would watch. This is when you just bring John Cena in and just have him like kind of futz around with Akira Tozawa backstage or R-Truth, or just let him do silly stuff on Raw just to keep the crowd and the energy hype and give other people the rub, just like being up there with John Cena. A la The Rock with the Hurricane.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess I'm maybe like they're just trying to keep him to SmackDown on TV, which I'm sure USA loves, but they want everybody to feel like, hey, if you come to a WWE event, you could get John Cena, right? I guess is the draw here, because live event attendance is back to being a priority for them, which anyway. So he hits the ring. He hits the ring as Riddle's recovered from this RKO. He gets to play Peacemaker, right, between Orton and Riddle, bringing them together. And then the Raw Dark match. So first of all, the show ends. Everybody sees this dramatic moment. I know they're not going to follow up on this, but I don't want to see this. Who wants to see this? You just watch Randy Orton drop Matt Riddle. You want to take it back? I don't want that. Boo.
Boo. Boo.
Boo. Boo.
At least have Orton try to sneak an RKO on Cena, get an FU, and slither out, or whatever the case is. Yeah, that is just weird.
Yeah. Boo. So, anyway.
Super boo.
Super big boo. Don't even like that footage exists. So the dark main event, though, is John Cena teaming up with Damian Priest. They beat Jinder Mahal and Veer. And you know, that's a great moment for Damian Priest. Sounds like just like last week, man, like the New Day post-show gimmick, the tag match was like the best part of the whole show.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm still tripping off of them not having him on Raw. I think brand split aside, it's John Cena. He can bounce back and forth. He was already doing it. He's having a crazy... Yesterday, I watched 2 John Cena movies back to back. Mm-hmm. Just show him off. Let him do his thing, man.
You watched Suicide Squad?
Oh, my goodness, yes. I can't recommend it enough. He's great. It's a great movie.
Dave in, John Cena, best part of Suicide Squad. No cap.
He's up there. I wouldn't say he was the best.
Yeah, very enjoyable. Very enjoyable. Anyway, go watch the film. Judge for yourself. I don't even like superhero movies. Liz literally looked at me on Saturday. She goes, I want to watch this movie. It'll be good for your job if you watch this movie. That's how she sold me on it. And I really enjoyed it. I'm glad she did. That was good.
Right? It was a great time.
A really fun movie.
Stark made the movie for me.
Yeah. Anyway. So also on Raw, Karrion Kross, he got a win over Jeff Hardy. Felt very flat. Very flat. Very weird. Right? What have they done?
Man, I don't know. And here's the thing. when I watch Raw and I see Karrion Kross, I know who Karrion Kross is. I know what he's done. I know what he's come from. But when I watch Raw and I see him and I take that out and I watch as a person who's never seen him before, he doesn't look great. He just looks like a plain dude who's kind of big. He gets beat up and then out of nowhere, he'll choke you out. Mm-hmm. That's not how he should be presented on Raw. He should be having jobber matches, coming in and just showing, I'm the NXT champion. Are they trying to kill NXT? I'm sorry.
Well, we'll get to that here in just a second. Maybe I should have put these notes next to each other because, the dark match before Raw last night saw Keith Lee, the man Cross defeated the week before. He defeated indie veteran Chico Adams. Now, the match was described as a quick squash with Lee dominating. Of course, he wasn't on Raw. He did defeat Karrion Kross in a non-title match last Monday. The match was mentioned this week as Kross defeated Jeff Hardy by submission, but there was no follow-up to Lee defeating Kross. A complete wash. Like, nobody remembers anything of what's going on now. These men are all just, they're just adrift.
As you said earlier, it's a 3-hour show. You can't, the whole time I'm watching, I was like, so I don't see Keith Lee at all? At all. Big win last week. Now we just don't see him or talk about him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
And it sounds like what you wanted to see from Kross, which is just Kross like dominating, like, enhancement talent, whatever you want to call him. Keith Lee's getting to do that, which sounds like a lot of fun, but they didn't even put it on TV, man. They gave us the Kross Hardy thing so Kross could get his win back. I bet next week on Raw, Kross Keith Lee 2, 3.
I guess technically 3.
Would that be the rubber? I don't know. Anyway.
I don't know, man. And then you think they would tell us that, be like, hey, heads up, next week. No, they're going to be like, yeah, whatever. We'll tell you the night of. Whatever. You're going to watch anyway.
At HRD, LINR, they don't know what to do with Keith right now. It does kind of seem that way.
Yeah.
Fortunate. Very unfortunate. And so on that note, though, there were several NXT superstars backstage at Raw. Xia Li, Aaliyah, Odyssey Jones, Dakota Kai, and Austin Theory. If you're an NXT talent and you're sitting backstage, you're watching the NXT champion get treated like this, and you just watched all your friends get fired, like pins and needles, right? Like, make sure you don't take the wrong sandwich in catering kind of situation. Well, how nerve-wracking.
Who took the last egg salad?
You see Xia Li in the corners,
Yeah, it has to be weird. I mean, but it's that weird thing of like you're at your dream job, you finally get your dream job, but you kind of see that there's crap all on the walls inside of the, and you're like, oh no, I gotta smile through it. I don't know. Yeah.
I like how somebody down here, who is it, Jacob Grandi, does this mean that Jones is going to be the winner of the breakout tournament? I don't think that this has anything to do with NXT's creative. The fact Vince is looking at him is probably Hunter's like, no, somebody else, somebody that not Vince is not on Vince's radar. Maybe I can invest in them. So
yeah,
I'm going to do the opposite.
Yeah, I'm not going to try to make any logic of it.
So I'll jump to we'll get back to a couple of things on Raw, but so Matt Men podcast, they're saying a lot of chatter on the NXT cuts among USA Network higher ups. Now, one top USA official was said to be disappointed by the way things are going with the NXT brand. Andrew Zarian from Matt Men podcast, he said the following: the perception for many is that these upcoming changes will be negative. Perception means everything, especially when you are working with partners who are not pro wrestling fans and don't have deep knowledge of the talent. In reality, are the changes coming to NXT a bad thing? Time will tell. But for the first time in a long time, a lot of easiness amongst executives with the, I would say, leadership and creative direction of the product really at odds. And I don't know what to make of that, EJ. What are your thoughts?
I don't either. And that's the weird part. It just feels like something's fishy. I feel like somebody new has stepped in and it's just doing whatever. It's probably a numbers person, like they're saying. It's probably a numbers person who has nothing to do with wrestling. And they're just like, okay, these people need to get out of here. Optics say not enough people are tweeting about them at this moment in time, so they need to be cut.
Well, I think that also there's, you get your daily briefing on your products and stuff. And if you have an NXT file, right, and you're like, hey, what kind of press has NXT been getting recently? And your secretary or your assistant or whoever prints you off the top 10 NXT stories of the day that are getting the most traction. And they're all, this person's been released, chaos backstage at NXT, miscommunication between Vince and Triple H. Like, if you're just somebody just like on a tertiary, like you're just getting you have 15 minutes to review your NXT portfolio for the day. That is not a good stack of headlines to be seen. And so if this reboot or whatever they're going to be doing is the plan, it better go well, man. Because they need some new headlines to stack up there.
To the point where on Twitter, the trends were like, Gargano's fault. Gargano versus Ciampa is the reason. And I was like, what is going on? Like, people are upset about Shawn Michaels. People are just and it's not a good look online when you were the best product, when everybody was saying NXT is the best thing to watch.
Yeah.
There was a stretch of time where people were like, the best wrestling on TV is NXT. And something happened.
Well, and I don't remember exactly. I don't know who to credit for this, but I saw something on maybe on just socials or whatever, pointing out how, NXT before AEW was the cool product, right? Like, you had fans that could watch Raw, SmackDown, but they're like, but I watch NXT, right? Yeah. Then AEW comes along and they're like, well, we're also the other big cool product. And WWE decided to put those things head to head. And then fans chose Pepsi or Coke. And in this case, Pepsi, voice of a new generation, seems to have won out here. And now NXT, losing that kind of alternative vibe, is just kind of this other thing now that just exists. And Vince is he's just making his way with it. He's just battering this thing around. And I think he's upset with it. EJ, I do. I think there's like some animus there towards this thing.
It's like he's interesting. And we've known historically the guy has a huge ego. He brought over a WCW talent just so he can crush them and have a head-to-head where his side won. You already won. So maybe he's like, we lost. I'm going to start cutting people who, just whatever I feel. But you nailed it with NXT, because NXT was the cool alternative, but they were the cool alternative to the machine already. So when you have something that's a little bit cooler than NXT, this doesn't matter. NXT is like, okay, whatever. It's not as cool as this cool thing. They're just a part of WWE now, and they're all kind of that.
Yeah, the cool factor got lost there at NXT. And, yesterday we were talking a little bit about it. When did that happen? When did that moment happen? Because I don't think it was right out of the gate. There was obviously a lot of excitement there for both brands, maybe a little bit more for Dynamite, but people didn't quite know what to expect. NXT had a history to it. For me, I'll go back to every time. After that Survivor Series, when they didn't put 10 NXT superstars in the Rumble, and they went right back to Raw SmackDown after putting NXT over at Survivor Series, I was like, this doesn't work for WWE unless NXT has this rebellious presence. If they're just regulated to the kids' table, it's just not going to work for them. And that's unfortunately what happened.
And it makes no sense for them to do that, but ego. And it's like, this is a part of your business. Right. Why are you making them look silly? If Walter chops you, you should be selling it. Don't no-sell Walter chopping you and be like, haha, and then get rid of him. It's Walter. Big man, baby. He'll kill you. You know what I'm saying?
Who didn't sell for Walter? Who pissed you off by not selling a Walter job? What happened here?
Oh my gosh, was it Survivor Series? He chopped Randy Orton and and they just stood there and was like, ha, ha, ha. And then they got rid of him. And I was like,
yeah, Walter got done dirty at that Survivor Series. I'd forgotten about that. Yeah.
Like, I've never forgotten. That hurt my heart so much because I want to see him versus Brock Lesnar. But I'll say when they took Keith Lee off of NXT and moved him to Raw is when I was like, But NXT. They didn't do that right. They treated him right. They changed his music. And then NXT was kind of like spinning in place for a bit.
Yeah. Well, Dave in here saying this 100% AEW was the better alternative to NXT's value proposition, and it's since lost its shine excitement. I do think that's like a big part of it. Unfortunately, Aubrey James here putting it on the same night as AEW killed NXT going on USA Network for 2 hours. Killed it. Yeah, but again, it's like the chance was there to make it happen, and yeah, I think we both agree. It seems like WWE dropped the ball. And we'll do one from here. Japan in himself. All right. You forgot that Vince purposely killed NXT by taking the talent and not treating them like main event stars. For years, he poached his own talent. You expect us to watch when they don't care. And I get that, but, you know, like Seth Rollins was in NXT. Charlotte was in NXT. It's not like it's not like there isn't talent that came from NXT and found success on the main roster. It just seemed like if you weren't part of that first wave, then maybe the next
it was a different time.
Yeah, maybe the next one's coming, right? Maybe there's a next wave coming. But that first wave of NXT talent that got to make the leap, they seem to be the ones that are doing the best, DJ.
And all those people that you mentioned, it was a time when it was so different because you have Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss. Whoa, they're all wrestling down in NXT. Asuka, haven't seen her in weeks, by the way.
Yeah,
she was down. I don't know, Nick. And it upsets me. I think the talent was just so different and strong. But I think now NXT is being booked like WWE, Raw, and SmackDown. So where they're not special, as special as they used to be. So now when they get moved to Raw, they don't look as big as the other people because everyone's bigger than them. And they just kind of book them as whatever. And they try to change who they were. Like, can you imagine if they changed Charlotte Flair from where she was in NXT to now to a completely different person and just had her with one name, or just Becky?
Well, we're going to get to that in just a second because it does flow into our next subject. But I want to bring up Heath Summers' point here. The talents we're talking about were built in FCW, not NXT. They were homegrown in the WWE system. And it is kind of interesting that, like, yeah, the talent that was part of that last kind of FCW wave that went to NXT, got to get over a little bit there, and then made their way to the main roster. Those are the people that found the most success. People that have been brought into the new system, you know, conveniently not under Vince's management as much. Those people are not finding the same success. I think that's a really good observation there by Heath, because it is true that we're talking about were not people that were signed, brought to the PC, did NXT, came to the main roster. Very different.
Yeah, the PC is now like a farm. So if everybody's learning the same fundamentals and the same steps, how do you stand out and shine?
Well, you know how you just said, like, what if Charlotte Flair showed up in the main roster and just said, I'm not Charlotte Flair anymore? Well, Elias declared last night that Elias is dead. He had a pre-tape vignette, threw his guitar in the fire. Thoughts on Elias is dead?
I don't want it to be, because the whole purpose of Elias and the whole anticipation was a live crowd and Elias. His whole shtick works with a live crowd. We've had a live crowd for 3 weeks. I haven't seen an Elias song where he trashes the city yet. I've been waiting for it. He could, oh my God, can you imagine if he came out last week in Chicago and ripped on our town for anything that Chicago sucks about? It's killer.
I see here Antonio Garcia. Jackson Riker successfully killed Elias. And, you know, no Riker. Again, Riker has disappeared. And I should have put a prop bet on 3 weeks over under on Elias or on Jackson Riker. But
yeah.
Anyway, Elias really did suffer through that feud in more ways than one. And, whatever this reinvention is, God bless. I hope it works for you, But, like, I'm with you, EJ. This wasn't broken. Honky Tonk Man is 60, 70 years old. He's Honky Tonk Man, right? Yeah. People love the Honky Tonk Man. You didn't need to change the Honky Tonk Man that much. And I don't think Elias needed to be changed that much.
Not at all. He took my favorite part of Hollywood Rock when he was like, have a concert and just boo-boo all over your city. That's his thing. Why would you do that and then have the man lose a strap match of all matches to Jackson Riker?
All right. I should have brought this up earlier. Damian Priest, he's going to officially go up against Sheamus. I should have brought up in that in the John Cena block there, but they're going to go heads up at SummerSlam. But lastly here, before we get to the Lance Archer interview, and then we'll do the mailbag real quick here at the end, we have another photo presentation. So this one is based off of the Black John Cena trend that's been going on social media. Now it's to this photo that I'm going to put up here. There we go. This is here. I'll read it off my notes. This is a fan named Brendan Kobina. He's a muscled up gentleman who looks like John Cena. And anyway, so him, R-Truth, they've been, this is from John Cena's Instagram page. He put this up last night after Raw, I guess, getting in on it. I don't know that he looks, I think Darren Young looks more like John Cena than this guy.
Oh, totally. But I mean, trends. He does look like John Cena, though.
I see it with the ears and the nose. I mean, I'm not saying the guy doesn't look like John Cena, but anyway.
But no, Darren Young was a spitting image. What if John Cena is just like a clone? They're just cloning John Cena. He's truly the prototype.
All right, EJ. Well, thank you for joining me at the top show. Talk all the top news of the day. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. We got some more to go here. We're going to dive into the mailbag here. Also, thank you, of course, to Lance Archer. If you're watching this in video form 10 minutes from now, go jump over to the Wrestling Inc. YouTube channel. You can watch the premiere of my interview with Lance. Jump in the comment section, talk about it. We talk Daniel Bryan. We talk Tanahashi. We talk Jon Moxley. There's a lot to get into, so go enjoy that. Today's poll question over at Wink Daily, W-I-N-C Daily. That's the account to follow. Currently, we have 1,156 followers, 1156. So if you follow us today, you can become 1157. That's a very special number. It means a lot to me. So if you go follow us right now, you could become number 1157. And if 1158 also sentimental to me as well. So if you're not 1157, don't worry about it. You can still be one of my special numbers. Okay.
Yeah, those were the times you were born, right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
So today's poll question stems from this note here from pwinsider.com. They say Becky Lynch is scheduled to be in attendance for SummerSlam on Saturday, August 21st in Vegas. I didn't really want to talk about this in the news block because I feel like Becky Lynch return updates have become so passe. Like we get them pretty often now, and she never comes back. I'm starting to feel like CM Punk syndrome. So
it's like the Kanye album.
Yeah. So I just asked everybody, since we're talking about Becky, when Becky does come back, who do you think she should feud with first when she gets back? The choice I gave were Charlotte, Nikki Ash, Bianca Belair, and another write-in person, if that's your choice. 40.1, Charlotte Flair. 36.8, Bianca Belair. So very close there. 9.4, Nikki Ash, and 13.7 for somebody else. EJ, who would you like to see Becky come back and feud with?
I did the other write-in. The obvious choice is whoever the champion is. I think she should come back and state claim and say, yo, that's mine. Give it back. With that being said, the person she gave it to was Asuka. I would like her to come back and have a feud with Asuka.
You're really pro Asuka here today.
I've always been pro Asuka. The fact that we're not seeing her do other matches, squash matches, or just with the people that need more work in their matches, pairing them with Asuka and just having them wrestle from time to time would be a good look. But I don't know. Why haven't we seen her? She's great.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's
a 3-hour show.
It is. It is. Do they got trapped on Gilligan's Island in that amount of time? It's wild. You like that, you're high on Asuka. Maybe you drink some high on Asuka, right? That's a ayahuasca joke. I thought about that, and I felt like I needed to say it out loud, so I apologize to everybody. It was poorly set up. It was poorly worded. It was poorly executed.
No, that was flawless, Nick.
I don't know that it was, EJ. I don't
flawless.
Know. Yeah. Anyway.
Man, I know. That was flawless.
So I voted Charlotte just because I think Charlotte is just so in her zone right now. I hope she just destroys Nikki and Rhea at SummerSlam. I really just want to see her be dominant. Nikki got her little run. She could say she's a champion. She could chase that title now. Want to get it back. Rhea had it here for a while. Charlotte had like that little blip of a title run. I want Charlotte to just dominate these two. And then the night after SummerSlam, Becky Lynch comes out and is like, I'm going to be the one to put you in your place. I'm going to kick your ass, or whatever she says.
Charlotte makes the most sense, too, because when Becky comes back, you need a big enough heel to stand across and know that they're going to be booed and take that. Bianca should not, unless Becky becomes a heel, but nobody's going to boo her. Nikki would be just drowned by Becky Lynch. So Charlotte makes the most sense.
Yeah, I that's who I'm going with. 6 Rings 9880, Tamina. Don't hate it. At the Buscat, didn't Shayna bite her? Did they ever pay that off? That's a good point. We have Mr. Brody, Zelina Vega for 3 months. Very specific. We have a couple write-ins for Rhea, Sasha Banks from Louis KL. And we have one here from Samantha. I would love to see a one-on-one with Rhonda. I think Rhonda's like pregnant right now. Or just
no, Rhonda pregnant.
Okay. All right, we'll wrap it up here today. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow. I have another big interview I'm doing this afternoon. I have a couple in the can, so I continue to not be able to give you a accurate assessment of what our schedule looks like. But I will tell you, we are going to release this Stephen Amell interview with Scott Fishman here this week. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow, maybe Thursday, maybe Friday, but we told his people we would get it out this week. So you're definitely going to get Stephen Amell very, very soon, and then a bunch of other big names as well. So stick around for that. I'll also be joined by Brian Wool tomorrow, who's going to be doing our on-site SummerSlam coverage. I'll be in Chicago that Friday to cover the United Center show and do the post-show scrum with whoever may be. Look into my eyes. What do you see? Whoever that could be. And right. If you like the Wrestling Inc. Daily, support WrestlingInc.com. We're on all the socials late at night. We do the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Subscribe to that on your favorite podcast platform as well. And one more time, this Friday, it's going down. Replay Lincoln Park, right up here, off Diversey and Sheffield. Diversey and Sheffield. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sheridan, it's like a whole thing in Chicago. They become one and separate. Anyway, Sheffield, Diversey, Replay Lincoln Park this Friday night. It is the AEW official Chicago premiere party for AEW Rampage. We're going to have an exclusive AEW prize package that I'm going to be giving away there. We're going to have posters. At the end of the night, I'm going to tell you, rip them off the walls. Act like animals. And so at the end of the night, after the show's done, maybe leave us some AEW posters. We're going to have coasters. We're going to have napkins. Just fleece the place of all the AEW stuff when we're done. It's fine. It's all free. It's free to attend. So that comes down Friday night, Replay Lincoln Park. EJ, what do you want to put over here when we wrap up, or to wrap up the show?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, keep being good people. Be safe. There's all these variants going on. Hate to be a bummer about the pandemic, but there's just things going around. Wear your mask and wash your hands. We're still in it. We're not out. I know. Eat a bagel. I had one this morning. My day has been infinitely better. And be kind. Give me a follow on Twitter if you want to see things I retweet.
Yeah, there you go. Bagels are great. Yogurt's great. Just anything to kind of get your day going, get your body going, get that energy going, feeling the bull dance, feeling the flow, you know? Okay. I'm at Nick_Hausman. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will talk to you tomorrow. And remember, if you winked, you didn't miss it.